Hey, this is Daniel Murphy with the Daniel Murphy Real Estate Team here at the beach over at the Hoffman Group. What I'm going to talk about quickly are the numbers that are included in this newsletter. If you're not receiving the newsletter, please give me a call and I'll make sure you get one. But quickly going over the third quarter numbers, and specifically not just the third quarter, but the first 3 quarters of the year, of this year, as compared with the previous two, just to kind of give you an idea of where the market's headed or where we are today. So quickly, let's go over the condo numbers. As you can see, in 2014 through 2016, the total number of condos sold has increased every single year, about 300 units per year. During that period of time, the average price has gone from 138 up to about 142. There is a slight price drop from last year to this year, from 145 down to 142. All of these are within the margin of error. It's like 3% on 140 is really a flat market. But then when we look specifically for those of you that own oceanfront, what you're seeing in this is, again, a steady increase in the total number of units sold from 853 total units for 3 quarters in 2014 to 962 this year for the first 3 quarters. But what I'm noticing is that the average sale price went from 193 up to 204 last year and has dropped down to just below 185 this year. And that's fairly confusing for me, because we typically say that everything starts at the ocean and heads west. So as appreciation goes, it should happen on the ocean front. Looking deeper into these numbers to figure out where that big average price drop occurred, I believe it was in the sale of the North Beach Tower properties. Not nearly as many sold this year as the previous two. And if you know that property, we're talking about $400,000 minimum sale prices up to $1.3 million. So when that inventory starts dropping off the boards as far as sales, it's going to drop your average sale price. So I don't think there's much to worry about. I think we're probably on that 3%, at least in most of the buildings that I'm looking at. A 3% growth this year. Again, that's just a typical market, but well off from where we were the previous 4 to 5 years. On the residential side, again, you're going to see these numbers, a steady increase in the total number of sales. Not quite as many this year over last year from the previous year. And the average sale prices have gone up steady $10,000 per year, and that's pretty much what I'm seeing. So again, off from the previous 4 years, but still a decent amount of appreciation. So we've gone from 222 to 232 to 242 consecutive year over year. The other thing that we look at on residential, and that's all residential, much like oceanfront, I try to narrow this down to those of you that own resort type residential property here in the Myrtle Beach area, raised beach homes that you rent out when you're not here. We can't really identify those specific only to those that rent it out. There's just no way to identify those. But what I did was pulled inventory from Pawleys Island up to Cherry Grove. I didn't put Conway in. I didn't put Loris Longs. Just those that are on the oceanfront east of Business 17 to give us an idea. And what you're going to see is, again, every single year we have increased the total number of units sold from 464 units in 2014 for the first 3 quarters to 582 this year. So again, very good numbers as far as total units sold. Prices have increased from 370,000 in 2014 up to 395,000. However, since last year, it's only gone up $1,000. Again, within the margins, it's basically a fairly flat market, or at 3%, which is what we expect in a normal appreciating market. And those of you quickly that own lots, you can see that they're all over the place. We've had years where they were at 848 in 2014. This is the lowest amount of lots that have sold in 3 years for the first 3 quarters. The average sale price has gone from 84,000 in 2014 down to 72,000. I think a lot of that has to do with you're starting to see some of these units or lots that have been sitting. People are starting to drop their prices to get them sold. So again, those are the market numbers. Again, they're good numbers for you as sellers. I don't know if you're looking for a long-term hold. It makes sense it makes sense if you're going to have a longer-term hold. If you're looking to sell in the near future, you're only looking at 3% maybe in the next 18 to 24 months, so it may make sense to sell now. And quickly, I did do some numbers on distressed inventory, because I am getting that question from some of the buyers I'm dealing with. Is like, hey, we're really looking for a distressed property, foreclosure, short sales. Let me tell you, in 2014, in condos, the average percentage of sales was 12% of the sales we had in 2014 were distressed. This year, it's only 4%. There is just not that deal anymore. Banks are holding on to the inventory for market value, or at least close to market value. So no real big deals in there. On the residential side, it went from 14% of total sales in 2014 down to 6% this year. So again, you're just not seeing much of that distressed inventory anymore. It does pop up, but typically the banks are looking at least 96, 97 cents on the dollar. So if you have any questions specific to your property, if you're looking to buy real estate here in the Myrtle Beach area, please give me a call anytime. Thanks.